The Right Side with Doug Billings.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the special edition of The Right Side with Doug Billings. I want to take a few minutes today to talk about this situation in Venezuela and counter the liberal talking points. It needs to be done to countermeasure what these whack jobs who live in Kookville have been arguing about today. So President Trump did something that no modern president has done. Many of them have talked about this. There have been plans made by others, or at least skeleton plans, I guess, of situations like this. He ordered the capture of a sitting despot, imitating a duly elected president, a foreign dictator, not a credible, not a duly elected president. Nicolás Maduro of Venezuela, and he brought Maduro to the United States, to New York, where he was flown today to face criminal charges. He was not assassinated. He wasn't bombed. And nothing is being forgotten here. He was captured, arrested, and transported. In a military operation that I've got to give credit to right off the bat, America is unmatched in its military capability. Not even close. Although we certainly don't want to tangle and get messed up in wars, there's no nation on this planet that can match us. None. If we were thrust into a war, we would beat anybody and anybody who would want to team up on us. But already you can feel the left, can't you? You can feel the panic. You better believe right now, tonight, they are having Facebook meetings, Skype meetings, conference calls, meetings in dark oakwood libraries in Congress with cigars and scotch at people's homes and so forth. And they're inviting the media talking heads in on these meetings because they've got to come up with talking points beginning tomorrow on the Sunday news circuit. And just watch, the Sunday news circuit will be the Sunday news circus. So today I'm going to do what the corporate media refuses to do. I'm going to slow this whole thing down. I'm going to explain what actually happened. I'm going to try to get this done in 15 minutes or less. I'm going to tell you what went on behind the scenes and what, most importantly, I'm going to explain why this action is legal, constitutional, and long overdue. And keep in mind, it's been me. I've been telling you since well before Thanksgiving that the CIA was on the ground in Venezuela and they were laser tagging key targets. Drug facilities, one of which was already struck on land. You know, that strike in the operation within Venezuela was really kind of a look. Hey, look what America can do. Look what America can do. If you want our deal, Nicolás Maduro, if you want to get out and live any kind of reasonably free life, get out now, get out voluntarily, or we're going to take you out. That's the signals that were being sent, both behind the scenes in diplomacy and right out in front of us, blowing up the boats and blowing up the drug facility within the boundaries of the Venezuelan country. So contacting Maduro's inner circle was also part of what the CIA was doing. Contacting his inner circle, trying to get them to peel away and to flip on him and to gain valuable intelligence about his schedule. And then also the CIA working with the military there to keep the peace and the government working while America takes control and looks for a successful solution to the vacancy there in the leadership of the country. So what happened? In facts only, early this morning, Saturday, January 3rd, 2026, United States forces carried out a precise surgical operation in Caracas, Venezuela. Explosions were heard during the night and around the regime strongholds. Power outages followed. They were EMP devices used, electromagnetic pulse devices that took out electric grids. Communications were disrupted. The entire Venezuelan military was left inept and was left useless. They were taken out. And within hours, President Trump confirmed that Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, had been taken into United States custody and were being flown to New York. Not to Guantanamo Bay, ladies and gentlemen, like the kook talking heads will say on social media, and not to some black, dark, secret site, to face justice in a United States federal courtroom. And this matters. And it matters why it's not a military tribunal. A lot of people out there harping on military tribunals. That's another topic for another day, but that's a ridiculous request. It's not what we need right now, but that's another show, another time. And why was Maduro targeted? Let's just go through the questions. Let's go through what it was and why it's legal. I'm going to deal with the lie that you've already been hearing all day long. Well, this came out of nowhere. No, it didn't. Nicolás Maduro had been under United States indictment for years, and he's charged with narco-terrorism, conspiracy to traffic massive quantities of cocaine, using the Venezuela state as a drug-running enterprise, and for trafficking human beings. The United States government publicly offered $50 million as a reward to capture this guy. That's not symbolic. That is law enforcement. Maduro is not a legitimate head of state. He's not an acting legitimate head of state who's been acting in good faith. Not at all. He is, and he has been always, the leader of a criminal organization masquerading as a government. And the behind-the-scenes reality about all of this is that for years, Venezuela, under Maduro, functioned as a narco state, a safe haven for the cartel activity, election integrity and fraud headquarters for other spots around the world, a launch pad for drugs that poison American communities. And this is not ideological. This is not an ideological argument. This is a moral reality. This is organized crime, ladies and gentlemen, organized crime at the state level. And when a criminal network uses sovereign cover to traffic poison into the United States, it becomes a national security threat. That's the key phrase above all else, national security threat. And for anyone wondering, is this legal? Yes, 1,000 times yes. And here is why. Because I know, I see the texts coming in already here on the live feed. Is it legal, Doug? Are you sure? It's a violation of international law. We see Bernie Sanders, Chuck Schumer, AOC. This is illegal. Trump needed to consult Congress. All right. Every one of those claims collapses with any kind of scrutiny, with any kind of intellectual maturity. They collapse. First, Maduro is not protected by head of state immunity. Not when he's operating as the leader of a transitional criminal activity enterprise. Transnational, international, global. You don't get immunity for doing that, ladies and gentlemen. The immunity does not apply to narco-terrorism. Thank you very much. Second, Maduro was already indicted in United States courts. This goes back 7, 8, 10 years ago. It's not a declaration of war. This was the execution of an existing arrest warrant with authority granted to the president and the Department of Justice through Congress. Third, Article 2 of the United States Constitution. The president is, most of you know this, the president's the commander-in-chief. For those of you on the radical liberal left, the president is also the chief law enforcement officer of the United States. When a criminal organization traffics drugs into the United States, funds terror, and destabilizes the entire hemisphere, the president does not need congressional permission to enforce federal law. The law was enforcement backed by National Defense Authority. This was not a war for territory. And here's the part that the left doesn't want you to remember. Every president they supported on the left used executive force abroad even more than what Trump did today. But suddenly, when the target is a socialist dictator and successfully taken into custody by the orange man, President Trump. Oh no, Trump derangement syndrome spikes, and they discover, well, we've got concerns. We have concerns about force being used when we take narco-terrorists. I know that President Obama launched 4,000 sorties against Iran and Iraq, but never mind. Oh, and Obama killed American citizens with drones, but never mind. Now we've got concerns. So we can demolish the liberal talking points, can't we, ladies and gentlemen? Because we can dismantle them cleanly. Their talking point number one, well, this violates international law. No, it doesn't. Quite simply, no, it doesn't. International law does not protect drug kingpins. Not drug kingpins and not people who weaponize sovereignty to traffic narcotics. Their second talking point, this sets a dangerous precedent. Yes, it does set a dangerous precedent for criminals. A precedent that says if you poison Americans, you don't get to hide behind a flag. Their third talking point. Well, this is nothing but imperialism, Doug. False. Thanks for playing. Let's see what they get, Johnny, for a parting gift. Imperialism conquers nations, ladies and gentlemen. This operation removed a criminal regime and established temporary stability until legitimate governance can resume. That is order. That's not empire building. And so why this moment matters, ladies and gentlemen, this is not about left versus right. It really is not. This is about law versus lawlessness. For decades, we in America have been told we can't touch them. They're too powerful. Well, they're protected. Today, that lie died. This operation sent a monumental message that cannot be underestimated to drug lords, to dictators, to corrupt regimes everywhere. You do not get immunity from destroying lives. Anyone who disagrees with President Trump today either suffers from blind partisanship or is a victim of crippling intellectual immaturity. It really is that fundamental. So in closing today, remember this day. Not the headlines necessarily, not the hysteria, and not the panic from the political class. Remember the truth. A criminal regime was brought to justice today. U.S. law and order was enforced. American sovereignty was defended, and America has proven herself to be unmatched in military precision, might, muscle, and men. And ladies and gentlemen, that is not extremism. That's leadership. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen, please, at The Right Side Doug Billings. Head over to YouTube and search at The Right Side Doug Billings. Follow me on X and Truth Social at Doug Billings. If you want to contribute to the program, I never charge you for it, but if you want to contribute to the program, DougBillings.us. And if you want a personal message, I'm happy to do that for you. Book me on Cameo. Ladies and gentlemen, my friends, Americans, people around the world, we are in this together. Believe it. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the set of my show, Doug Billings. Hey, my good friends at EMP Shield, that's electromagnetic pulse, in case you're from Raytown, Missouri. Electromagnetic pulse could wipe out your home electrical system, could wipe out your vehicle. And thanks to the radical liberal agenda that was put forth under Administrator Biden and Vice Pretender Harris, there are lots of people in this country who want to do us harm. And maybe an EMP device would be their chosen weapon. But EMP Shield gives you a device that can protect you. This little baby here goes on your home outlets, a computer, a router, whatever you want to protect. And then they also have a larger model like this. You can still hold it in the palm of your hand that goes on your vehicle battery so that you can get out of trouble from point A to point B. EMPshield.com. Promo code Doug, ladies and gentlemen. Save yourself. Save your property. EMPshield.com. Promo code Doug. We're in this together, folks. Believe it. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.